ever stop and think about your own mortality? Like, what's the point of all of this? What's the meaning of life? What sort of legacy will I leave behind? And will I have made a meaningful contribution? Will I have made an impact? I think the first funeral that I can remember attending was in my teens. It was a friend of the family. And then I think I was fortunate enough to only lose someone who was close to me only about every decade or so. So I've been luckier than most. I've known people who suffered significant losses in their lives. When I hit my 50s, then even more so in my 60s, I started seeing those numbers increase when I really thought that that wasn't going to start happening until sometime later on, maybe into my 70s or even my 80s. Yeah, I guess I didn't think it would be so many so soon. I guess I always thought it'd be further on down the line and there'd be so much more time for us all. I was wrong. There's a saying that's been phrased many ways, but my friend Jim stated it pretty well recently. Time is a currency that can never be replenished. I recently heard about the passing of his former bandmate. Now, I hadn't seen him in probably 3 decades, but the news of his death for some reason hit me hard. I remember him as being a sweet guy and I liked him. Roughly a month later, a friend I had not been in touch with for quite some time died. That news was a lot harder to hear. Within about a week of hearing that news, a hero from my younger days, Ozzy Osbourne, died, and the news that struck me for whatever reason is a bit impactful, if only to do with the timing. I did not know the man and I did not follow him obsessively. I saw him perform live a total of 3 times, that's all. But there was something about Ozzy I would like to point out to anyone who will listen, and that is this. At all 3 shows I saw, from beginning to end, there was something I heard him say over and over again, a variation thereof between songs and lyric lines, like relentless waves of energy crashing over the audience. I love you all. I love you all. I love you all. I've never seen anything else like it, and I am certain I never will again. I have seen some of the greatest performers of our age and can count on one hand, literally, who I have seen do what Ozzy did to an audience. Ozzy, Michael Jackson, Prince, Neil Diamond, and Frank Sinatra. If you weren't in the audience, it cannot possibly be conveyed to you using mere words. I have no idea how many times he said, I love you during one of those shows. I don't know how many times he said it during all 3 of the shows that I saw. I don't know how many people were in any of those audiences. Ozzy had been performing with Black Sabbath and as a solo artist for 57 years. I cannot calculate the number of shows and I cannot calculate the number of people he performed for. Most of all, I'm simply unable to even begin to fathom Ozzy's incalculable number of I love yous, and that is just at his live shows. That does not even begin to talk about every little kid who walked up to him to tell him how much they admired him, and he would insist on hugging that kid and telling the kid he loved them. Maybe that is how you go out on a high note. Maybe when what you gave to the world was decade after decade of endless waves of love, the only thing the world could show in return was love. Maybe when you gave all that you could possibly give, the world says it loves you back by giving you the highest grossing charity rock show in history, putting your 55-year-old album at #1 on the Billboard charts, making it your band's first #1 album ever, and making sure that your whole family knows how much you truly were loved by so very many people. I put Ozzy right up there with Mr. Rogers as far as people I love and admire most, who I would most like to emulate, be like, and model my behavior on. How crazy it must sound to some people that the 2 people I most want to model my behavior on are Mr. Rogers and Ozzy Osbourne. I can only hope that when the time comes that I shuffle off this mortal coil and leave this earthly plane, that I will have given even a tiny fraction of the love that they gave. Maybe one of the best places to start making sure that you leave a legacy that has an impact and makes a meaningful contribution is to think about how much love you are putting out into the world. Or do you worry that you are going to run the clock out before you ever even get your chance to make your contribution to the greater good. Maybe that was the thing I could not explain about why I felt so deeply devastated when Princess Diana, a woman I had almost no attachment to, was snatched away from us all, and our hearts were left forever shattered. Ozzy Osbourne, Fred Rogers, Mother Teresa, people like that, they all lived long lives and completed their life cycle. They left behind a body of good works. When somebody like Lady Di gets their light snuffed out by a cold world, it's a painful loss. If ever there was a more glaring example of not knowing when you are going to reach the finish line, I would be hard-pressed to find another one. Maybe don't give that clock the chance to run down on you, kid. Don't make the mistakes I did, spending so much of my youth being selfish, reckless, careless, and thoughtless. You go out into the world and you start sowing the seeds of love and see what that might yield. Do you honestly believe there is any way to get through all of this with a zero error ratio? It's not an online typing test. It's not a test at all. This is your life, and it's not a foot race. It's a journey, not to be won or lost, but to be experienced and enjoyed. The only point to all of this, the only reason for landing on the third stone from the sun, is to know the joy of being alive. You may hear me talk about things and think, wow, you've learned so much. You must hardly make any mistakes anymore. Kid, you could not be any further off the mark if you tried. If I were a betting man, I would say that the smart money is on I probably made some sort of glaring error in my behavior as recently as this morning. I have to take great care to monitor the way I talk to people, especially my girlfriend, since we are together so much. It ain't about how many times you fall down, kid. It's about how many times you get back up. Get back up. Have you ever thought you had a good handle on things and then you just went and completely blew it? Well, let me tell you about the time I made a complete and total jackass of myself to my boss, making demands about things I had no right to whatsoever. I was having a rough go of it, all stressed out, and started seeing everything in my orbit only from my point of view. I mean mine, I mean mine, I mean mine. I completely lost sight of everything the guy did for me and all of the other people who worked there. A 10-minute commute, a banker's hours schedule, 6 paid holidays a year, accumulated paid time off, free parking downtown, free meals and snacks that put a dent in all of our monthly grocery budgets. They pay a large majority of our insurance coverage, a generous holiday bonus. It's not a stressful job. I enjoy what I do, the people I work with and for, and plenty of other things I have not thought of in the time it took to come up with this list. I forgot. So, to try and make up for this transgression, I go to the specialty cupcake place where these specially created cupcakes are usually $4.50 a pop. I buy half a dozen plus an extra one for the officer who had never had one. I paid an extra delivery fee and a generous tip for the last minute delivery, and so all in I am now at $12 a cupcake. I walk in with the box and my boss says, no, take them away. I can't have those on my diet and wants me to put them in the break room. But there's no way on God's green earth that I'm about to take $12 cupcakes to the staff who will bite into them and go, hey, these are pretty good cupcakes. Now about no. So I play the one remaining card I got left in my hand. That is to say, straight into the camera lens, sorry, I was such a jackass. There are too many ways to fall. You zone out. You forget to keep in mind what you already know. You live inside the bubble of your head for a moment, then it pops, and you realize that you weren't seeing everything that they had been doing for you all along. So you have to go and make up for that. Did you ever wish that you could go back in time and do it all over without making all of the mistakes? Don't waste your time wishing. And don't waste your time on regret. Undertake decisive actions to do better in your everyday walk of life and the way you treat others, and things will probably work out. You can live the rest of your life wishing you could go back in time and live it all differently without making any of the mistakes, or you can live out the rest of your days trying to make sure that all of your time is spent making sure that all who know you feel that they are loved and cared for while you are here, and that all of the seeds you sow into the garden will leave something beautiful. And you might think that's stupid. You might think that perceiving death as being the finish line makes going on somehow pointless, but it's not. It's not about the beginning or the end. It's about all of the stuff that happens in between. It's like that story of the student who makes the long and arduous journey to the far side of the island to bring back a handful of beautiful white sand to the teacher. The gift was not some handful of sand. The gift was the journey that was undertaken. I fall, and I get back up. And there are so many times that I just don't want to get back up, but man, I do anyway. So today, when you fall, you get back up. You do it for the ones who are counting on you. It's going to be tough, but you dig down deep and you find the strength to do it just one more time. And when you see that someone you love has fallen, you reach down and you pull them up with everything you got. You let them know you got their back because they've been there for you when you needed them to be. We all fall down, but you get back up for all of the people you have let down. You get up for all of the people who have seen you at your worst and who know that you have seen them at their worst. We carry each other to the finish line. Those we carry, that's the bond, baby. That's the bundle of ancient willow branches that can't be broken. Those are the ones who are going to have seen and tolerated your behavior at its worst. That's how you are going to know who was in your super group. Those are the ones you will be able to count on one hand when you are at the end of the line. And there will be some who fall and do not get back up. Those will break your heart. Those you have to find a way to resolve your feelings of love for, so you find the way. Mistakes are how we all learn our lessons. Without mistakes, there is no journey. So there would be no point to all of this. And without someone to make those mistakes with, there would be no love for anyone to ever get to experience. We're all just like the flowers, kid. We're here for just a season. The finish line is always a lot closer than you think it is. I love you, and I'm always with you. And in the words of the immortal Ozzy Osbourne, I love you all. 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 I love you all.
Bartender, pour me out 2 fingers of tears.